Hello, we are Able Faces and we're a songwriting and production duo from Glasgow in Scotland. And today we're going to be breaking down how we made our track Wasting My Time, which we did with two DJs called Lalo and Max, and it's out now on Sam Felt's Heartfelt Records. So a bit of background about us. For the last couple of years we've been working with a bunch of DJs and producers from all over the world, and our main thing is toplining, which is essentially writing the vocal part, recording the vocal part, and then doing the vocal production, which is what we're going to be showing today. So we're going to go through this song start to finish, our process from getting sent an instrumental, writing the rough voice memos over that, how we wrote the full song, brought it all together, then recording the lead vocals, so getting all that sounding good, comping those, finding the best takes, making it sound as good as it can, make sure the timing and pitch is perfect, and then adding backing vocals to them to bring it all together and make it sound like a complete version of a song. And then we'll show what our processing consists of, so we'll break down our vocal chain, EQs, compressors, all that fun stuff, and then finish by showing how we do vocal mixing to get it to sound nice and balanced in the mix. So let's get into it. So what is toplining? Basically it's the vocal part over an instrumental, and that could be a full song with verse, pre-chorus in the usual structure, or a vocal sample that's chopped up, small parts used, or it could be a repeated loop in the vocals. But basically it's just whatever the vocal part is over an instrumental. And there's a couple of ways that this can come about from dance music. Quite often a DJ will send over an instrumental that will be quite bare and have a lot of room to add the vocal part, and it's our job as the topliners to write and record a part that fits that, using melodies that match what they've done, bringing it all together, sending it over, and if they like it they'll take it back and usually mix it into the song, and then it'll be released as one song. Or the other way that this can sometimes come about is we'll start with an idea, so it might be like a full song with quite a fleshed out instrumental, or maybe what's more common is we'll have like just a piano part or just a guitar part, and then we'll send that to the DJs and then they'll build a full instrumental around that. So it just kind of depends on who we're working with and what they're wanting. So how did we get into toplining? Basically, the person who is now our manager, a great guy called John Saunderson, he is also a publisher. So a few years ago we'd met him and he'd given us the chance to get on his briefs that he sends out, which is basically where he'll send an email chain to all of his writers that basically has instrumentals that are looking for top lines, or sometimes it'll be a brief describing a top line they're looking for. So as I was saying, we would then start with the idea and then send it back, and then after doing a bunch of those we finally got one picked up by a DJ called Mark Benjamin, and that got released on Oliver Heldens' label Heldeep last March in 2020. And since then basically loads of DJs have got in touch on Instagram and email and all the rest of it. The internet's a wonderful thing. So basically what it's meant is that we now have lots of people that we work with regularly, and sometimes if we've got an idea we'll then send it around to a bunch of them and see who's interested in it, or they'll send us instrumentals and then we'll add top lines to it. So it really is just like a lot of stuff to do with the music industry. It's just trial and error, meeting lots of people, trying lots of stuff, and then eventually certain things click and then it just sort of grows from there. That's been our experience anyway. So how do you get into toplining and how do you get your top lines picked up by a DJ that wants to work on them? Our advice would be, if you are like most people starting out with no access to a publisher that can send things out for you, get in touch with people on social media like Instagram, message small DJs that you want to work with, and quite a lot of the time you'll get a reply. If you send something that's good enough, they're likely going to want to work on it. Yeah, and the way that you can build this sort of rough demo, it could be if you play something, guitar, piano, or whatever, just some basic chords, keep it simple. In fact, the simpler the better, because a lot of DJs like that, because then it means that they've got loads of room to add their own flair to it. And if you don't play anything, even just adding a kick drum, just literally a solid kick going behind it, and then come up with some hooks over that could be enough. The main thing that we would say from experience with DJs is, while you don't want the instrumental to be fully fleshed out that you send them, the vocals should be really perfect. The way to increase your chance of getting it used by a DJ is if the vocals are perfectly recorded, perfectly edited, and sound like they're ready to go.
and all they need to do is add an instrumental, because it's about making their life as easy as possible. And these DJs are hearing so many songs every day, working on so much stuff. If they hear something that's half finished or that is going to take a lot of work on their end to get the vocals sounding good, they're not going to want to work on it. So you can't control whether or not they're going to like your ideas, but what you can control is that it sounds professional and it sounds ready to go. So we spend a lot of our time just getting all of our vocals sounding really tight, so that if anyone listens to them, hopefully they'll sort of jump out because they sound really sort of well edited and ready to go, and it's easy to imagine what they'll sound like in a finished song. So yeah, just messaging people on Instagram or emailing, you'd be amazed how many people will reply, and if it's an idea that they like, they'll probably use it.